Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. You are now entering Season 2 of the Swan Hockey Podcast. Swan Hockey is flying around the junior hockey world one episode at a time. You'll experience things dreams are made of, as well as things of terrible nightmares. Strap in, hold on, and enjoy the ride. And now, Swan Hockey.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Swan Hockey. We are in Season 2. I am Eric Swanek, and today we are joined by the general manager of the storied Danbury Trashers, AJ Galante. AJ, what's going on, man?
How you doing, buddy? So, yeah, pleasure to be with you, man. How's it going?
Going good. Hey, so I introduced you as the general manager of the Danbury Trashers. Is that accurate? I mean, because the Trashers are not dead. I mean, they haven't played in a while, but as you and I talk about all the time, like they are by no means dead, very much alive. So I still consider you the GM.
Yeah, I guess technically you could still call me that. It is crazy, man. You know, if you would have told me, like, when we lost the team, unfortunately, in the summer of 2006, if you would have told me, 20-something years later, basically, when we started that, we'd still be talking about the Trashers, I would definitely have thought you were crazy. But, here we are. And, yeah, it's wild, man. It's super humbling. And, I'm just really appreciative that so many people have just found such an interest in, this team that was only around for 2 seasons, really.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really cool, like how, some stuff like that where they're not around for super long, but they leave such a lasting impression. And it just, obviously goes to show, like, even, the fan base, like you could see the fan base very much still alive, in the Federal League team in Danbury, which obviously you're the general manager for today. It's just really cool to see how it has stayed alive. Like what was the whole thing like? Like, obviously we've all seen the documentary. What was that time like? What about that time frame? Like maybe that the documentary didn't capture, or just maybe just kind of like your day-to-day experience. Like what was that ride like? Like just having just this bad boys team of hockey and just kind of being off the rails, and just, you guys were winning, they're having success. Like, the crowd was loving it.
Yeah. Well, first things first, it was definitely a whirlwind, you know what I mean? And it was like, it just like, it felt like we played for 10 seasons and we didn't. It was literally 2 seasons. And it was just a whirlwind, man. It was such a crazy time, man. And, I was, the 2 years of the team, I was a freshman and sophomore in college. So it was like, the tough balance between, like, my school and then, all this nuttiness over here. And it was like, it's almost like you're living 2 different lives in a weird way, because I was very, like, to this day, I'm a very humble person. Like, no one at school, where I went to school at Manhattanville College, like, nobody knew about the Trashers. Like, I didn't promote, like, hey, I'm the GM of the Trashers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I was just trying to stay under the radar. And so it was almost like I'd go home to Danbury, and it was just like WWE, man. It was like pro wrestling on ice. And then I'd take a 40-minute drive, into Manhattanville College, and it was just like it was like a switch, and it was like a whole nother life. But it was a wild, wild ride, man. And it was just, it was just a different time, man. It was just like, everything was just so authentic. We weren't doing things for views or clicks. There was no viral back then. So it's like, everything we did was just, and I think that's why the team, it's like, people still remember or talk about it, and especially with the documentary, it's just like, because people could sense it was an authentic thing. Nowadays online, you see so much stuff and you can just tell it's not real. And it was just as real as it got back then, and it was a great time. And also, to be honest with you, I learned a lot of lessons, humbling lessons, because, going into that second year, about midway through that second year, we just felt like we were unstoppable, and it was almost like, man, look at all this stuff. Like we got the city in a stranglehold here. Like, we can't do any wrong. It's like we were the hottest thing going over here. And no matter how humble you are, naturally, subconsciously, you start thinking you're untouchable. And you start thinking like, yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing. Why am I even going to college? I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life. And then next thing you know it, you wake up one day and that's that, man. And I just kind of learned like as quickly as you could go up, you could go down just as fast, man. It's really wild. So it was hard for me to deal with, for all of us to deal with. But I tell you, at 39 years old now, it was one of the best young lessons I ever got.
Yeah. And it's, and that's, again, like I always, like, obviously this whole show is, pretty, geared towards junior hockey. And that's something that, I preach a lot to the junior players about, is that hockey's no different than anything else in life. Right. And pretty much every facet, right? So everything you just said could be translated to, a player's experience throughout the season with, in terms of, getting called up, getting sent down, power play, not power play, all these different things. So that's why I always stress, you always, like to your point, like it can come and go quick.
Oh, dude, to this day, it's like, I wish one of my biggest regrets during the Trasher days, and again, I wasn't a player, is I wish I just would have took one game out of all the games I went to just kind of like sit in the stands and just like be a fan and just watch and like take it all in. But you're thinking, you're scouting, you're taking notes, you're arguing with people. You know what I mean? It's like it comes and goes so fast. And you know what? I'm sure these young kids that listen, they've heard it all before, right? Take it, but the reality is they're only going to learn through experience. But I can say, man, it just goes by so fast. There's not a day that goes by that I wouldn't give anything just to play. Like, I peaked at high school hockey, right? I wasn't a high level hockey player, but what I would give to just have one more, transport me back to like a 16, 17-year-old kid and just to have one more game and just experience, the butterflies walking onto the ice before. And I would do anything to just, get that feeling one more time. And, it's tough. Junior hockey, forget it. It's such a competitive and crazy world. And it's just like, just enjoy it, man, because when it's over, it's over. Whether you go pro or you go to college or you retire or you just get a job or go to, it's just when it's done, it's done.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those, and I've had some of those same feelings too, like where it's like, oh man, to go back and, and like me, like I'm kind of past it now, but like when I first stopped playing and, I was, accepting the fact that like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm not a hockey player anymore. Like I'm doing something else now. Right. Like that same feeling, like, man, what I would give to give it one more go around in any league. Right. Cause I deal so much with players and families that they have these great options in front of them and they don't want to take it because they feel like that it's not good enough or that they're above it or whatever. And they don't want to prove it. They just want something at a higher level handed to them. But it's like a chilling realization when you stop playing, where it's like, because I did the same thing, right? Like there was opportunities that I had as a player that I'm like, I'm not going there. Like I'm better than that. Like, and then when you stop playing, it's like, man, what I would give to go play at any one of those places and give it one more time around the merry-go-round to try to, make that dream happen of reaching the NHL. Like, man, what I wouldn't give to just go play anywhere and have that platform to show what I could do. And it's a chilling realization.
Well, listen, I tell people, and I think what you do is great, advising, families and players. And, I've been in the pro boxing business for 15 years now. So I promote fighters, I advise them, manage them. And now, being back in hockey, I do similar stuff. And I get seeked out by, young players or families too, even though I don't do anything kind of officially. But I tell people all the time, what I've learned in life is more damage is done with indecision than bad decision. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes I see people all the time, they're juggling. Should I do this? Should I do that? I get it.
Drowning in opportunity.
Yes, and you know what? That's the problem. This day and age with everything in life, there's too many options, right? Like, what the long, I love my wife. I've been married, over 5 years. I love my wife to death. We go out to dinner. That's our thing. Listen, the most annoying time with my wife is when we go to a diner because a diner has a 30-page menu, right? And we know what we're going to get every single time, but my wife has to read through all 30 pages of the diner menu. Okay. And then you know what she gets? Pancakes. Okay. So it's like, it's one of those things where sometimes you get, clouded, like you said, there's all these, oh, well, what about this or what about that? Listen, sometimes you got to, I'd rather regret something I did than something I should have done. You know what I mean? And it's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's one of those things also in life, like you just said, like, oh, I'm not going there. Or, here's the thing. You got to think about life after hockey. Hopefully a guy makes it to the NHL and becomes a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
But life after hockey.
There's still life after hockey. Like I say that all the time. Like you could play
Yes.
20 years in the NHL. There's still life after hockey. Like you will not play this game forever. Like hockey's not who you are. It's just something that you do.
And it's one of those things too. I tell people, like, go out and experience like other places, even if it's below where you think you should be. Guess what? You're gonna make new fans. You're gonna make new connections. You're gonna get out of your comfort zone, and that's only gonna help. Just in life in general. You know what I'm saying? And but it is tough. I don't blame a lot of families because it's like, man, you see all these options, and it's like. I'm a father now, so obviously, I try to like look at it from their perspective and, hey, I want the best for my kid, but there has to be a level of realisticness, you know what I mean, when it comes to all these things,
Yeah, and it's so tough when it's your kid too. Like I had a very well-respected advisor years ago that came to me with his own kid. And when he asked me to help him, I'm like, why don't you just do it? He goes, I can't. It's my kid. He goes, everything I know, I can't see it straight. It's all clouded. It's my kid. Like I can't do it.
Yes.
So I was the one.
And that's
so I was the one doing it.
And I give that guy credit because a lot of dads, and I see it in the boxing world, they want to be the trainer for the kid, and they're living vicariously through the kid. And I've seen more relationships break up over a stupid sport like boxing because the father-son thing. And you're right. Your judgment gets jaded. It's the same thing now with the hat tricks. It's like I'm very close with all the guys, but at the same time, I can't be too close with them because it clouds my judgment. And if I look, I got to do what's best for the team sometimes, and that means tough trades. Waving a guy, it may be a tough situation, but if you get too close with guys, you kind of be like, give them another shot, give them another shot. Next thing you know it. Your team's on a losing streak. People are on your ass. You know what I mean? So it's tough. So he did the right thing coming to you because, it's true. Your judgment is all clouded.
Yeah. And it's, and I want to go back to what you said before about the pancakes. Cause I think that was a great analogy. And I think that it's, what people have to realize too, the difference with hockey is that, like with the pancakes, they'll always be there, right? Hockey, there's a window, right? Timing is important. Right. The pancakes won't always be there in hockey. So I say it all the time. Like there's people that they're drowning in opportunity. What I tell players and families a lot is when you find something that checks all the boxes, it checks every box on your list. What else are you looking for? Yeah. Right. Cause I've seen it, guys. Yeah. It's like, guys, I've seen it. It's like the perfect situation, checks every box for everything. And they're like, oh, well, what else is out there? Well, what else are you looking for? Like you don't want to lose the opportunity.
Nah, well, listen, it's a generation too. I mean, think about it. Guys are scrolling on TikTok and Instagram. You just scroll. It's an endless. It's infinite, Eric. I mean, you just scroll. Like I'm watching a movie or I'm watching a clip. This is funny, but let me go to the next clip. The next clip. It's just. I think. I think part of it is just where we're at in the world right now. There's just, like you said, there's endless possibilities. There's like literally like Go on Instagram right now. Go on your reels and you can spend from here to 10 o'clock at night scrolling and the videos will never end.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just like, you doom scroll, right? Let me take a 10-minute break in the office. Let me look at some videos. Next thing you know an hour has gone by. I just wasted a whole hour of work because I'm watching some moron at a supermarket pranking somebody. It's like, how did we even get here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or you start going down some rabbit hole. It's like, trying to figure out space, like space and time travel. It's just like, it's cool, but maybe I don't got to figure it out now. Yeah, it's just the way the society is right now. Not even the young kids. I'm 39 years old and I get caught. I tell you, I'm going to bed early tonight. I got to get some sleep. Next thing you know it, like you said, let me watch some hockey clips on YouTube. Next thing you know it, I'm watching Lions or something. It's like I don't know. It's wild. Yeah, no,
it's really crazy.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I had no idea. I didn't know you went to Manhattanville College.
Yeah, I went in 04 to 08. Yeah.
Serps went there. Andrew Serpico, he's on the show all the time. We're actually doing
no way.
We're doing some really cool things. He's currently the assistant director of U.S. scouting for Neutral Zone. I had him on our staff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had him on our staff with the Worcester ECHL team. And we just broke down, and I say we, but he did it. He broke down every NHL player, every American NHL player, and where they played their youth hockey. Cause we were doing like a little study, like, okay, cause obviously like with youth hockey these days, everybody's, running all over the country and gotta go here, gotta go there. Like if I don't do this, I'm not going to make it. And we wanted to see out of the current NHL players, how many of them like played youth hockey out of state versus just lived a normal life and played at home. And we got to the conclusion that there's about 8 or 9 that went out of state. Isn't that nuts? Out of about 216 Americans.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, hockey is a business, especially at the youth level, just like any other business. And we all know, unfortunately, what business is about, and that's money. And it's branding too. I mean, hey, credit to these guys, that can convince somebody that you need to drive an hour and a half, one way to practice every day and pay you, half your salary for the year. I mean, God bless those guys. That's called branding. That's like Nike, right? Like, I'm getting old where I'm not looking at the Nikes anymore. I'm looking at Skechers sometimes. Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, let me try these slip-on Skechers here. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'll pay $30 compared to $100. I used to get every Jordan that would come out back in the day. I'm like, God bless, man. It's branding. But yeah, man, it's you and I have talked about this, I don't know how many times off the air. It's just like, it's sad, man. It's some of the stuff you see, it's really sad because like you said, for 99.9% of most people, like life after hockey is going to come a lot sooner than most. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's sad. I see it all the time here in Danbury. I see these kids like, and they're great players. Don't get me wrong. I wish them the best and I hope they all make it. Whatever their goal is, I hope they all make it. It's just the reality is it's probably not going to happen the way they see it's going to go. And it's just like, these kids, they're not kids anymore. And it's kind of sad to me, to be honest.
Well, and I think it's like, I put a lot of value into living a normal life. Like, and I think that these people that are like, what it comes down to is these people are all looking for that kind of yellow brick road in a way to the top, which doesn't exist. I say it all the time. And for me, it's trying to get everybody to understand that, hey, the thing that matters most is performance. Performance is king. I say it all the time. You got to perform. Like if you're the best player, like if you're performing, you're dominating, it almost doesn't matter where that is. Like, yeah, sure. There's some places that are better than others, but if you're dominating, like you don't need to move out of state to go dominate somewhere else in youth hockey. Just dominate at home. I mean, there's some extreme circumstances, like maybe some states don't really have hockey and the kid has to move but for the most part, like, again, like you just got to dominate. Cause my whole thing is like, there's only so much resources, right? Like there's only so much money brain energy, time. So what's a better use of your time and money? Like think about it, for all this money and this time that these people spend either in the car driving, like you said, hour and a half one way to practice. Like, well, what if that kid was working, was shooting pucks for 45 minutes at home instead, right?
Yeah.
What if that gas money once a week was taken and given to, an NHL level skills instructor, and he was doing that in addition to it? Like what if you were using your resources differently? Right? Like, could you accomplish more? And I believe the answer is hell yes, you can.
100%, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're in 2025, and you just hit it on the head. If you are good enough, if you are good, between every resource that's out there, okay, social media, YouTube, Instat, Neutrals, all these different things that weren't around 20 years ago. Okay, like, if you are good, they are going to find you. Dude, I spend hours a day on Instat, okay? I was actually watching a kid that sent me an email. He's not going pro, and he's 17 years old. I literally was watching, like, high school games at him on the computer. It's like, it takes 2 seconds, so it's like, people will find you, and it's like, it's just, you're right. It's just like, it's you got to take the kid into account too, because here's the deal. Like, a lot of kids are going to yes their parents to death no matter what, right? They're going to say, hey, honey, do you want to play on this team? Well, granted, we're going to have to drive 27 hours in 5 days, but do you want to do this? What do you think a young kid's going to say? No, kids don't want to disappoint their parents, right? So it's like, it almost like from a socio, like the resentment builds, right? It starts early. The seeds get planted. The kids run. The kid wants to be home playing, Call of Duty or Roblox or something. They don't want to be in the car. It's all a big balance, man. It truly is a big balance. And what parents got to realize is this, right? Especially youth hockey, right? The goal of you just hit on that. Most goals of parents and hockey players is, hey, I want to get to that next level, right? Well, guess what? So does a coach, okay? Yep. So, like, this coach is like, your kid, I see something in this kid. He comes to me and plays here. I promise you, he's going to get to the next level. I got a friend that's in the East Coast League, and I got a friend that's in the NOL, the USHL, and I'm going to get him here. I'm going to get him there. And then guess what happens? The kid goes, they spend money up the yin-yang to play for this guy. All right, and guess what happens in the offseason? This guy gets an opportunity somewhere in Europe, okay? And now your kid is sitting there, hey, coach, you said you'd give a call to, Coach Joe Blow over here in Chicago. And then the coach, you can't find him. Or all of a sudden it's like, well, I got an affiliation with this team. I don't think I could call him. It's all one big, so like.
The number you have dialed is disconnected.
Yeah, all of a sudden you can't catch them. I see it all the time, man. And listen, I don't want to dump on hockey because it's like that in boxing. It's like that in baseball. And it's just the way it is, man. It's all one big hustle sometimes. And I'm not saying it's all bad, but I just don't like seeing, because I've been taken advantage of a lot in life, and I've seen people take advantage, and it's just like you see it, and it's like, when this Trasher Netflix documentary came out, I kind of got back to being a fan of the game, and now I'm the GM of the team here. And it's like I started looking. It was like a guy coming out of jail after 20 years. It's like, look how different things are. It's like, it's amazing to me at like the Danbury Arena. All right, how many different youth teams and junior team, like. It's like, what happened to just being Danbury? Now there's like 87 different logos, and it's a wild scene, man.
Oh, it's crazy the way hockey's exploded, and and it hasn't, and it's not all for the good. I mean, I love that you just said, that you just gave all those examples, because listen, a lot of guys are afraid to, right? Like, I say a lot of things that, are probably not popular with the teams and the leagues. Yeah. And that's why I don't get as much support on social media from teams and leagues, because like these guys will, people will text me and message me privately. Oh, great post. Oh, it's such a great point. Oh, if only people understood. But they can never say that, like actually say that on the post, right? Like, so, but like, yes, like I'm so happy, and I'm so happy that you I'm so happy they said that, because I say it all the time. Like, the coaches want to move up too. It's the coaches, they're, and it's not only from a standpoint of them moving up and I guess that like leaving their players behind. Like, I hate to put it that way. Maybe that's not the proper way to put it, but like, it's not only about that, but it's about the coaches making decisions day in, day out that's in their best interest as a coach to move up. Right. And that's
100% what it is.
And to your point too, it's not a bad thing. My whole thing with people is I'm not trying to shit on hockey either. It's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful game. I just want people to understand and see it for how it truly works, because it's going to help you guys out there. It's going to help you guys be successful. If you know how the game is played, you have to know how the game is played if you're going to win the game. Right. And it's going to help everybody.
And you just hit it on the head again. Listen, everybody's job, all right, at the end of the day, is to look out, number one is always you look out for yourself and your family, and you got to do what's best for you and your family. But the way some people do it is a little ass backwards to me. But you're hitting it on the head. Like, listen, you think Coach Joe Smith is looking to coach U14 his whole life? No, he wants to get a job. So, of course, there's a level of selfish. And look, selfishness isn't always a bad thing. It's just everybody's always going to look out for themselves at the end of the day. So, again, think about your kid. And as a kid, listen, I grew up, I was in the shadow of my dad my whole life, and that's not a bad thing. But it's like I would never want to disappoint him. If my dad told me, hey, I want you to stop playing hockey, and I want you to focus on baseball, I would have done it. And I used to play baseball growing up, and I stopped because I'm like, I just want to focus on hockey. But I would never want to disappoint my parents. So if for some reason my parents weren't like this, but if they said to me, hey, you got to stop playing hockey and play baseball, I would have done it. And because I don't want to disappoint my family. But guess what? I would have ended up resenting my dad and my mom so much because I loved hockey. And it all comes back around at some point. You know what I mean? So, I think, if kids are listening, I know it's tough. I know it's really, really, really tough, but you have to be willing to, and it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You got to be willing to sit your parents down. If you don't like the way things are going, be like, hey, Ma, Dad, I just want to can I just play home? Can I take a break? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the whole hockey world in general just needs to kind of like everything, just
take a deep breath.
Yeah. Just needs to chill. Like because there's just so much like extracurricular noise, and it's just people run around in circles, and none of it accomplishes anything. Like none of it means anything, and that,
well, the other big problem, I don't mean to cut you off. The other big problem I see, and there's nothing anyone can do about it, is frankly, social media. And it's like, parents are watching kids from other families do well, and, families are only posting their son or daughter's highlight reels. They're not posting when they gave up the puck at the blue line and the other team scored. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, well, why is this kid got so many, why is this kid getting so much recognition? It's all a big subconscious thing, man. I'm telling you, it's weird.
Yeah, there's so much like that. That's why I always tell people you can't compare yourself to anybody, because you don't know what their true situation is. Like even when even looking at junior hockey, like I'll have parents that are like, oh, well, that kid got tendered in the North American Hockey League. We think our son is better than that kid. So if he can get tendered, my kid should be tendered. Where it's like, hey, but you don't know what happened, right? And you don't know if that kid was the NAPHL tender, right? Because or the tier 1 tender, whatever they call the league now, where the league has to tender a certain amount of players every year. Each team has to tender a certain amount of players every year from that lower league affiliate, whether they want the player or not, because they're trying to pump the numbers, and they're trying to create a development path that's in progress. So there are certain league rules like where you have to tender certain players, from a specific league, and you don't know that kid you're comparing yourself to. Maybe he was one of those picks where the coach is just like, all right, shit, we got to tender somebody from this league. Who do we want? Don't know. Doesn't matter. Pick it out of a hat. Like, and people spend way too much time and energy focused on other people. And again, like it doesn't even, a lot of it's for nothing. Like if you're not worried
It's all
about
noise.
yourself, who is?
It's yeah. No, you're right. And it's just one of those things where I just think it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. I do it to myself, man. You know, like I said, I have a boxing gym here in Danbury, 10 years, and it's like, you know, it's unavoidable. I don't go looking for it, but sometimes I see another gym and they got like you know, some new bags or something. Where I'm like, man, I wish I had that. Like, what do I? It's impossible not to compare yourself anymore because it's just right on Front Street. And I just think the parents, like you said, like it's a lot, man. It's a lot right now, and I think it's always kind of been that way. I just think right now it's just so magnified because you know you'll have a mom going on a rant on a Monday talking about their 9-year-old's game that went on this weekend and what went wrong. And it's just like everybody's got like this outlet now to talk. And it's like, you know, which is great, I guess, in a sense, but it's just like, just worry about, you know, your kid, your team, and don't worry about what anyone else is doing, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I want to address, because you mentioned highlight reels before, and we have a question in Discord, and I wanted to bring it up on this episode because I love the videos that you do. We'll talk about those in a second here, but we have a question in Discord that says, I record or obtain all of my kids' shifts from every game and then put them together. They are usually in order from start to finish. My question is it wrong to have them in order, and should I be putting highlights first to catch attention? So I think that's a great question. And what I always tell people is you definitely want to have them from start to finish, right? You want to make a condensed game, right? Because you want to make it, if let's say you had 17 minutes of ice time that night, if you take out all your shifts, put them in chronological order, now a team could watch you play a whole game in 17 minutes, right? You want to make it as easy as possible for a team to see you, like you, and gotta have you, right? Make it easy for them. In terms of highlight reels, coaches typically don't respect highlight reels. As long as a kid had 10 points one year, you can make them look like Wayne Gretzky. You know, what I always tell people too is if you want to make like a quote unquote bait video, make a 3 to 5 minute video of not highlights, but just clips that sum you up as a player. Show what you do well, right? Whether it's a back check, a forecheck, a goal, an assist, you know, playing hard in front of your own net, tough in the corner. Capture yourself as a player in 3 to 5 minutes. Use that as the quote unquote bait video. And then, you know, because people will open that out of curiosity. And if they like what they see, now they'll sit down and watch the whole game. Like, that's what I always tell people.
Oh, listen, I mean, again, you know, this is my first year back as a GM, you know, in the Federal League here. And, you know, over the summer, I just got bombarded once it was announced with, you know, resumes and elite prospect links. And I respect, it's just who I am as a person. I will literally look, anybody who sends me something, I always look at it and respond. Even if it's a one-liner, I will always respond. But when I get video, I always look, like no matter what. Like if I'm having a long day and I get a video, I just love watching video. And I think most people would rather see than hear, right? So it's like, I want to see it. Now, I think, and we'll get into it another time, but like I think video is, you know, you want to talk about investing in your child, you know, maybe one less skill camp and one real high quality, you know, sizzle reel. And by sizzle reel, what I mean is just like you said, it's like, I don't want to see all your goals because all I need to know is like how many goals you scored, right? Like I want to see the compete, right? So like I always tell parents, like skills will get you scouted, but compete will get you signed, right? So like to me, I want to see, like you said, forecheck, back check, some hits. I want to see your mistakes, man. You know what would grab my attention? Okay, is you know, even the player, if he's got that personality, narrating his, you know, we'll call it highlight reel, but you know what I mean, like his video, like, hey, coach, this is where I screwed up. Like, I want to know a guy knows his mistakes. Like, I want a kid actually do that and send me a video where he actually had really good production, by the way. He like, I want to see a kid say, hey, coach, look, you see how slow I was on this change and my teammate couldn't get on fast enough? They ended up scoring. That's on me. My bad. Like, if you send me that, that shows me you got the stones to like, now I know you're coachable, right? Like, 'cause here's the thing, because I'm not a coach, but I know what coaches look for too. Like, they want to know guys know mistakes and are coachable. Like, if I have a kid tell me, hey, look, AJ, I screwed up here. Look what I did. Now I know this guy is willing to take responsibility, knows he might have goofed up a play, and I know he's willing to learn. Like, you're right. I don't want to see fancy music and effects of every goal you scored, including empty netters, by the way. I had someone send me an empty netter goal.
I think I may have seen that before too.
I'm like, dude, I don't need to see that because, okay, you scored 10 goals. Great. And I'm happy for you. Getting 10 goals in any league is great. But it's like, all I need to know is, I could see stats all day long, but like, I want to see like the compete, man. And I want to see you I don't want to see you dogging it. Like these little things will get you, like you said, you will get noticed more that way. Like if someone sent me a highlight, like if someone sent me an email and there was like 3 attachments and one is, AJ, all my mistakes this season, I would go to that first and be like, yo, can you believe this kid actually had the balls, excuse my language, to like send me his mistakes? I will absolutely love that kid. Like, to the point where, like, that's just my personality. Like, I would love that kid and be like, look, even if I can't sign you, I'm going to push this to people I know to be like, yo, can you believe this kid? Like, it sounds so backwards, but that is what's going to get you noticed. How are you going to break through? There's a million kids playing hockey, sending their sizzle reels, posting it, sending them. How are you going to be different than Joe Blow down the street is, hey, here's my mistakes, coach. But, oh, by the way, look at my compete reel. Look at every back check, forecheck hit, those dirty goals in front of the net. Those impress me personally. That's what's going to get you looked at.
Well, because here's what I always tell people, and it's exactly what you're saying. And now that you just said it, I want to use it as an opportunity to point it out to everybody. Coaches, general managers, scouts, it's the details, guys. It's the details, right? Because they want to see the details. They want to see the forechecks, the back checks, the hockey IQ, the battles in front of the net, battles in the corner, all that stuff, communication with teammates, all those details. They want to see that, the compete, everything. Because if all those things are there and all those things are great, how could you possibly not put up goals and not put up assists, right? Goals and assists are the end product of doing all those other things right, of doing all the details right. Play hockey the right way, perform great details, right? Perform. If you perform great details and live in a moment and take it one step at a time, one detail at a time, perform great details, you're gonna get your goals, you're gonna get your assists. It's almost impossible not to.
No, you just hit it on the head. I mean, like there's, I'm not going to say any names, but there's a guy on our team that has a good amount of assists so far in 10 games. Every one of those assists have been because he forechecked and the puck went off his stick, kind of thing. Yeah. And it went to another guy and he scored. It's, again, those, like, you just hit it on the head. That's what, like, look, I know we're in an Instagram society where guys are, posting these, Michigan goals and all the craziness, which is cool, by the way. I like that stuff. But, at the real high levels, man, highlight goals are few and far between, man. A lot of it is just mucking it up in front of the net, getting your nose dirty. I want to see deflections. I want to send me a tape of you deflecting, even if they don't score. Like, deflect the puck, screen the goalie. Those are things that are always going to get you noticed every single time. I don't care what anybody tells you. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, like details. Just play the game, compete, have that burning desire to just compete and perform. I mean, and listen, speaking of the Instagram, I love the video highlights that you put up, the clips on the Trashers account. Those are great. I love those. The last one with the pirate was the funniest thing ever.
Well, it's one of those things where I started doing those clips like almost 2 years ago, before me and Daniel Amesbury started our podcast. It was like, oh man, let me get some practice in, with this. Because look, dude, I'm old now. I'm in my upper 30s, so it's like, I'm not the biggest social media guy. I don't know like all the trends and stuff. I'm like, so I started, I remember my first review was 2 years ago. I think it was in like it was an incident that went viral in the OHL where a kid got his chain snatched in the middle of a game, and I ended up just doing like a commentary review of it, and it just went. And I'm not really that funny of a guy, but for some reason, it's just like the way I come off is kind of funny on them because it's like I'm trying to review everything and like a real serious, like it could be like a goofy blooper video, and I'm going to review it and try to be serious about it, and it's just one of those things that kind of took off. It's a lot of fun to do, man. It's almost like therapy to me. Like I love doing it. It's really funny.
Well, and honestly, I think those could be attention getters. I mean, people want to talk about social media and, quote unquote highlights. I mean, like you're doing highlights, but it's not like we're talking about. It's not like highlights of only goals. Like you're highlighting different components of the game, which is cool. And I love them.
Well, jokes aside, I'm being dead serious. Like last year, there was a kid. And it's funny because, like, especially like junior hockey players, you know the culture of hockey. You're not supposed to put yourself out there too much. But I can't tell you how many juniors send me clips. AJ, please review this for me. This is hilarious. Or, oh, check out my fight. I'm not supposed to obviously promote my fights. And I'm telling you, there was a kid. I'm not going to say any names, but he begged me to review something. I ended up reviewing it. Now, I'm not saying this is why, okay? I'm not an egomaniac, but within 2 months, this kid's like following like kind of shot up a bit, and he ended up signing in the USHL. Now, I'm not saying it's because, oh, wow, AJ, did a review. Like, that's not why. But I find it coincidental, and it's like people, they see things, and it's like, no matter what, whether you get 10 likes or 1,000,000 likes, people see it, and it's like if you do it a certain way, it can be very, very beneficial.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I think it's cool. I think it's different. Again, because like you're highlighting different components of the game, not only the stuff that people will typically highlight, such as goals and assists and whatnot. So I think it's I think it's pretty cool.
I appreciate it, man. It's fun to do. It's a lot of work, believe it or not. I thought it was going to be easy. I'm like, let me make a 30-second clip. My God, it takes forever to make these things go. So it's therapeutic for me in a weird way. It kind of gives me a break. I spend like an hour putting like a 30-second clip together. It's insane.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, listen, I appreciate you being here because, like I said, there's a lot of a lot of the stuff that I do and say, I don't get a lot of support from some of the people that these guys, the players look for validation from. So I thought, all right, who do I know that was kind of a disruptor and wasn't afraid to do things different. You were sued by the NHL. Tell me about it.
Well, I've always said all these years we were sued, but I guess more or less it was kind of more of a cease and desist situation. But let's call it cease and desist with the intention to sue. How about that for a tongue twister? It was so we were the Danbury Trashers, and our first year, 2004-2005 season obviously ran concurrent with the NHL lockout, unfortunately, of that season. So we were getting a lot of attention. Some would say for the wrong reasons. I say no press is bad press, but we were really some serious outlaws, and we were getting a lot of attention, and the hockey media itself was starving for stories because there was no NHL. And we just seemed to be under the radar, again, by design, by the way. And, what ended up happening was we were so crazy to the point where, that off season, I'll never forget it. I was in my dad's office, and this is when fax machines were big. And we received a fax, NHL seal at the top, and the Gary Bettman stamped signature at the bottom, and in so many words, I'll put it in layman's terms, in so many words, they told us, hey, you guys, because of the similarity to the Atlanta Thrasher name, you guys and what you're doing and the bad press is basically affecting one of our member clubs, and we're going up, and this is what got me. It's almost like they were like, we're going to allow you to be the Trashers for this coming 05-06 season, but for the next season, you're going to have to change your name. And, look, me and my dad weren't going to just back down to anyone, including the NHL. And
Yeah,
we're like,
sure.
well, that's not going to happen. You know, that's for sure not going to happen. We're not changing our name for anybody. But, you know, again, it's like, it's funny because now the roles are reversed where I'm kind of like a wiser, older man. You know, my dad, you know, at the time, you know, he was, you know, the older influence, and I'm the young buck, and I'm on fire now. I want to go to NHL corporate, start breaking mirrors and windows and go nuts. And my dad's like, calm down, calm down. And my dad tried to explain to me, AJ, look, this is a cease and desist. Who knows? By next year, they may forget about this for all we know. He goes, but the reality is this, and this is where, you know, his wisdom came into play. He goes, here's the reality. If they do go forth and try to sue us, the NHL prints money, and they could drag this in court. They could put, injunctions, and it's going to be ugly for us. And frankly, we're not going to have the money to compete with it. He said, so if we're going to go down, let's go down swinging. And basically what we came up with was we ended up sending a letter back to the NHL. I don't know who, we know it got received because, you know, in the fax, it says when it's received. I don't know who saw it. I wish I still had the letter, but we basically said in so many ways, hey, you know, thanks for reaching out to us. Thanks for paying attention. We're not going to change our name. And in fact, you know, because the NHL has a black eye with yet another lockout, how about we do something fun this offseason, have an exhibition game? We will personally fly up the Atlanta Thrashers, and let's play an exhibition game for the name. And if the Atlanta Thrashers win, which let's be honest, they would have won. If the Atlanta Thrashers win, we will change our name next season. But if we win, we keep the name. And it was one of the funniest things. And to this day, I kick myself that we don't still have a copy of it. We never heard from the NHL, but again, the FBI kind of bailed the NHL out because there was no third season anyway. So it doesn't matter. But, you know, it was kind of like, hey, listen, you know what? If we're going to get screwed here, we might as well try to play these guys. We'd lose on the scoreboard, but at least we'd probably beat a lot of their guys up. And at least we would have saved some face, you know what I mean? And we would have been even bigger underdogs and even bigger, you know, cult heroes had we done it. And the NHL would have been in a spot where it's like, oh, damn, like if we don't accept this challenge, look at us backing down to a UHL team, you know what I mean? So it was very strategic, and it was one of the great, you know, it was, and that was never in the documentary. And that was one of those stories that are just like one of my favorites ever.
That's so funny. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So, oh, that's
good
great.
times, man.
That's awesome. Well, AJ, thanks so much for doing this, man. What's the Trashers website? Because like I said at the beginning of this, the Trashers are still very much alive. What is it? dbtrashers.com or is it, what is it?
Yeah, I think it's danburytrashers.com. I don't even know. That's bad, right? But listen, Instagram at dbtrashers. That's where we put all these funny fight reviews and stuff. I'm going to record one now after we get off. And yeah, man, it's I really appreciate the opportunity anytime. And I think what you're doing is great. And I think it's super important. And hopefully people, you know, we'll start really paying attention and listening, and you know, because you definitely got the right mindset.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I just looked it up. dbtrashers.com is the website. So awesome. Well, yeah, AJ, thanks again. And yeah, to everybody out there, until next time, I will see you in the Discord.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Swan Hockey Podcast. We remind you that season pass points are available to listeners. For more information, please visit www.swanhockey.io. Until next time.